Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Anthony Fantano and a situation that recently unfolded around him, and I think that it was kind of ridiculous in the first place that this is even really an argument that has to be had, but I'm actually kind of going to be defending both sides at this point because I feel like people have kind of missed the entire point of what this kind of content is all about, like what the whole point of opinions are and things like that are, but if you don't know who Anthony Fantano is, he is a well-respected music critic, runs the Needle Drop YouTube channel, and I believe has other YouTube channels and whatnot as well. I've watched Anthony Fantano for years. I've seen a lot of his music reviews. I tend to watch the ones that are more rap-centered because I really only listen to rap music and like certain other, I guess, bands and artists, but I really just tune in for like the rap reviews on albums that I've already listened to and just like to see his opinion on it because I like to see if other people appreciate the same things about music that I do, and I also like to see what other people think about the music that I think is good or bad or whatever, right? So that maybe a new perspective can be dawned upon me. I know a lot of people, they don't really like their opinions being challenged or like they don't like people disagreeing with them, but I really don't see the problem with it, right? You know, he reviews all kinds of music and he does work very hard. I mean, I know these music reviews can't be easy. Listening through a product multiple times, you know, getting a listen for it, getting a feel for it, and then actually conveying a message about it, not necessarily the easiest thing of all time, and he's doing it all the time. Well, anyways, a little bit of drama kind of unfolded, I guess, around Anthony Fantano and a recent pretty big rap release. TDE's very own Isaiah Rashad, one of the more respected rappers in the industry, recently released an album called The House is Burning. Now, Isaiah Rashad, I'm just going to go ahead and say this before I get any further into the video, is one of my favorite rappers of all time. I absolutely love Isaiah Rashad's music. The Sun's Tirade and Sylvia Demo are both two of my favorite albums of all time, and if you haven't heard Isaiah Rashad, honestly, I do recommend that not only do you give his new album a listen, but I would genuinely listen to his whole discography. He has 3 full albums out so far, and in my opinion, all 3 of them are actually very great albums. I mean, even The House is Burning, which just recently came out, I really like. Personally, I don't think it was as good as his other 2 albums, but it's still, for me, like a solid, you know, high 7, low 8. I thought it was a good album. I mean, there's a lot of vibes to it that I can, you know, kind of go with, and it's just good music to kick back to. But Anthony Fantano did not really have the same great opinion that I did about this album. In fact, he gave the album a 5 out of 10 during his review, which was a little bit controversial, and it actually sparked a direct response from Isaiah Rashad himself that later sparked pretty much the entire situation in the first place. So somebody tweeted at the Needle Drop, when is the review of at Isaiah Rashad's new album, The House is Burning? We need that. And Anthony Fantano responded quite quickly, in fact, and said, it's out. Then Isaiah Rashad himself came in to kind of, I guess, talk about the review and says, it's not experimental enough to excite him, basic enough to make him laugh, and too black for him to identify. My public persona isn't something to deconstruct, so he doesn't have much to review. I'm guessing it's just for views, if anything. And there's been a pretty split reaction to Isaiah Rashad's reply to the Needle Drop here. There's one side of people who are saying, yo, he got his ass, man. He cooked Anthony Fantano, bro. He was spot on, right? Like, fuck Anthony. He's a bad person. He shouldn't be reviewing this fucking music, right? Like, there's a lot of people who actually jumped against Anthony for this one. But then there's also a group of people who are like, oh, Isaiah Rashad's just fucking mad that he got his album reviewed poorly. He doesn't like the fact that somebody didn't, you know, give him a 10 or something like that. He needs to just fucking accept his L and move on, right? So there's 2 different sides to the coin here, and people are arguing about this, and I just kind of want to go through here and explain this right off the jump, okay? Both of these people are entitled to their opinions, right? So Anthony Fantano has the right to make music reviews. He has the right to have whatever opinion he wants to have about music. And at the end of the day, most people, we really don't give that deep of a fuck about it, right? Like, for example, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West is widely regarded as one of the greatest albums of all time, regardless of genre, one of the greatest rap albums of all time, Kanye's greatest album. Anthony gave it, I think, like a 6 in his first review, okay? And it's been his most, you know, criticized decision on an album pretty much ever, by a wide margin. And even in this specific incident, right, I disagree with Anthony Fantano's review. I liked Isaiah Rashad's album. I like pretty much all of his music, to be honest. But I enjoyed the album, and I think that's fine, right? Like, you have the right to enjoy or not enjoy whatever the fuck you want. And Anthony happened not to enjoy the album. It's fine, right? Like, I'm not gonna unsubscribe from Anthony Fantano because he didn't like this album. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have the right to cover music or share his opinion or anything because I disagree with him. But at the same time, Isaiah Rashad has the right to say what he said. Isaiah Rashad has the right to say, you know, hey, I disagree with his fucking rating. Of course, he's going to be a lot more biased considering it is literally his own work, but he has the right to say what he said. And he didn't really like say anything too foul. You know, he wasn't like, I'm going to beat the fuck out of Anthony Fantano if I ever see him. I'm going to shoot him in the face. I'm going to burn his mom's house down and kick in the door and film the whole thing. Like, he didn't say anything ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? He just gave his opinion on the review and on Anthony Fantano. I mean, you can say he was butthurt, or you can say that he's just mad all you want. It's your right, but people have the right to express how they feel about things. It doesn't really matter. But this actually led to a pretty big wave, I guess, of people kind of shitting on Anthony Fantano. And he says it's just for views, if anything, right? Which I'm kind of not understanding why that's even being said. I don't know if people don't realize this or not, but everything uploaded on YouTube is for views to a certain extent. Literally everyone puts out YouTube content because they want people to watch it. It has nothing to do with realistically a lot of other things, because if you really didn't care about people seeing your YouTube videos, you wouldn't put them on a public platform, title them correctly, make thumbnails for them, put effort into them, put metadata like tags on it, things like that. Of course, it's for views. It's literally his living. You know what I'm saying? And you can't even really make the argument that Anthony was clickbaiting, because he doesn't title his videos like let's say in this case, you know, he didn't really give it a very favorable score. It wasn't like, you know, he titled it, "The House is Burning is Complete Garbage and Here's Why." He usually just titles it like Isaiah Rashad's The House is Burning album review. He puts the score in the description, he puts it at the end of the video, you know, he lays out his argument or whatever on why he doesn't like it, and that's just kind of how it is. So it's kind of stupid. I mean, you can literally flip the same arguments like, oh, Isaiah Rashad only puts out music so he can get listens on Spotify. Like, yeah, of course, that's why you put it on a fucking public platform and you promote it and you try and make a career out of it, yes. And I also don't really get my public persona isn't something to deconstruct so he doesn't have much to review. It is true, Isaiah Rashad kind of stays out of the spotlight. He's not known for, like, you know, making an ass out of himself like 6ix9ine, or like, you know, even realistically being in the media like someone like, you know, DaBaby, Drake, pretty much anyone in the rap industry. You know, he doesn't really stay in the tabloids or anything like that. He stays out of the way, puts out music, does his thing. I actually kind of appreciate that about him, that it's not a fucking headache to follow the guy. But Anthony Fantano is, at least in my opinion, very good about staying strictly to the music. I mean, I've seen him give bad scores to artists that he likes. I've seen him give good scores to people that he probably doesn't care for too much. I really don't think Anthony Fantano is much of a, you know, stick to who they are as a person kind of thing, right? In fact, he stuck to reviewing the music pretty well. I watched the review, and it was pretty much strictly down to the music. I mean, he wasn't really shitting on the guy too badly outside of, you know, things he didn't like about the album and whatnot, and about the music and whatnot. But I feel like this whole situation has kind of made people forget that people are allowed to have opinions. People are allowed to say things about things that you like or don't like. They're allowed to say what they want about it. And yeah, you have the right to respond and say shit like this, but it doesn't make you right, and it doesn't make it something fucking concrete to say at the end of the day. I mean, the same thing goes for Anthony Fantano. Yeah, he has the right to make music reviews, but people have the right to criticize his music reviews. Yes, he's allowed to give an album a 2 out of 10, and you're allowed to criticize him and say it should have got a 9 out of 10, okay? At the end of the day, I think people need to stop taking this shit so fucking seriously, because it really isn't this deep, okay? It's not this big of a deal. I mean, to Isaiah Rashad, sure, maybe it is because it is his album. But at the end of the day, man, like, realistically, it shouldn't be this deep to anyone else. And people are, like, out here genuinely picking sides and, like, fucking trying to beef with people and, like, shit on people because, you know, that Anthony Fantano didn't like an album they do or whatever, right? So before I wrap things up here, I want to go ahead and show Anthony Fantano's kind of response, I guess, to the entire thing here. So I know there's been a lot of focus on everybody who hates me over the past 24 hours, so I would like to thank everybody who supports what I do, agree or disagree. Not asking you to back me up or to get into it with anyone. The fact that you continue to watch is more than enough. I think is a pretty decent response. So anyway, with that being said, man, we gotta stop taking this internet shit this seriously. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about Anthony Fantano, and signing out.